Protesters marched through central Moscow the other day. What were they calling for? They were calling for greater internet freedom. Many have accused the Russian government of trying its best to stifle free speech and expression through censorship. Some people were apparently heard, according to Euronews, shouting, "Russia without Putin." What is it that an authoritarian regime is trying to do when it seeks to reduce access to new information? It seeks to control the narrative because in doing so it can, over time, shape the minds of the population in such a way as is favourable to the ruling elite. If you're a dictator or the servant of a dictatorship, you want the people to be loyal. You want to control their worldview. What you don't want is skeptical, well-informed folks who are capable of thinking for themselves. If that kind of thing spreads, the rulers are in trouble. Well, there are clearly many brave Russian people who are willing to go on marches like the one we saw recently. I personally take my hat off to them. The world sees you. Over in Venezuela, the president Nicolas Maduro, successor to the late Hugo Chavez, is pressing ahead with an election to create a new constituent assembly which would effectively change the country's current constitution and possibly consolidate Maduro's grip on power. The current National Assembly in Venezuela, its parliament, is opposition controlled. Since this new constitution was called for, there has been an escalation in violence in what is already a country plagued by violence, unrest, goods shortages, inflation. Opposition groups held an unofficial referendum which rejected the president's plan, I understand. His approval ratings are right down there in the toilet, very poor. One might speculate that he's doing this because there's a good chance he will lose the next presidential election. And what we are witnessing here is an authoritarian ruler who can see his possible demise on the horizon. And so he's looking to tighten his grip on power. Elections for this new body are going ahead on the 30th, so less than a week away. Expect more violence on the streets. In the Middle East, 2 people have been shot dead in Jordan at Israel's embassy in the capital Amman. As I was talking about in my last video, Israel's new security measures around the Al-Aqsa compound, Temple Mount to Jews, or noble sanctuary to Muslims, this has caused tension and controversy, which obviously isn't limited to Jerusalem. There are many people of Palestinian descent who live in Jordan, people who fled Palestine on the creation of Israel in 1948, or their children or grandchildren, obviously. Now, with regards to this incident in Jordan at the Israeli embassy, it's still being speculated about whether this was a personal or political attack. An Israeli security guard shot and killed a Jordanian man who had stabbed him with a screwdriver. Another man was shot and killed. Another was wounded. one of the guys killed was a worker at the embassy compound. The other fatality was the landlord of the building, I understand. Another Jordanian. Israeli authorities are refusing to allow Jordan to question the security guard who killed the screwdriver attacker under the Vienna Convention. Yes, but Jordan isn't allowing the guard to leave the country at this time, so what's going to happen, I don't know. That's what's occurring. I'll see you next time, folks. Peace.